Hello, and welcome to the Quiet and Strong podcast, especially for introverts. I'm your host, David Hall, and the creator of quietandstrong.com. This is a weekly podcast dedicated to understanding the strengths and needs of introverts. Introversion is not something to fix, but to be embraced. Normally, we'll air each episode on a Monday. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform. Leave a review, tell a friend, help get the word out there. Recently, a guest on the podcast talked about hiking alone and how sometimes she enjoys that as an introvert. She said she had taken a particular hike and was talking to her friend after, and her friend was surprised that she hadn't been invited. Yeah, it really could seem strange to someone that we might want to hike alone, or go running alone, or walking alone, or taking a drive alone. But for the introvert, sometimes that's what we need to clear our head, or a number of other things. Maybe we're getting our recharge, or coming up with some great ideas, or just enjoying ourselves, getting away from things. Now, that doesn't mean we want to spend all of our time alone. Obviously, this friend got invited hiking from time to time. I think my guest also enjoyed hiking with her family, but sometimes hiking alone was that thing that she needed. When we need to be alone, it should be a normal thing. So, I was asked by an introvert colleague working on a project, what's a big topic for introverts? I think this could be one of them right here, is how do we normalize those things that we need as introverts? Our needs as introverts come to us very naturally, and we shouldn't feel strange about what we need. Instead, we should come up with some powerful statements that we can articulate to others. Such as, sometimes I like to go hiking alone, as it really helps clear my head and relax, especially after a difficult day or a difficult week. Do you know all your introverted needs, and can you articulate them to others as normal? Be confident and assured. Just because your needs may be different from somebody else's doesn't make them any less valid. So let's go through a few different scenarios where I'm going to give some examples of how you might express your introverted need and articulate what you need with confidence. So a big difference is often introverts think before we speak. It's a need. We're wired this way, and it's usually not a choice. But it's also a strength. But if we don't understand this need, we can get run over in conversation. Introverts speak in order to think, and so don't always understand why there may be pauses in conversation or sometimes silence. Pauses and silence are a normal part of conversation, but again, we still have some work to do in normalizing this. So, as you're pausing to think in conversation, say so. Maybe something like, I'm thinking about that, or I'm giving that some thought. Or if you need to take a moment, say, give me a moment to think about that. Say these phrases with confidence. Another big introvert need is preparation. Introverts do best with preparation for upcoming meetings, presentations, and important conversations. We like to think ahead of time. We like to do research and think about questions that we have. An example of letting your preparation needs be known could be something like, is there an agenda for this meeting? I do best preparing for the meeting ahead of time. Insist on getting the agenda ahead of time. If one's not provided, ask what's going to happen during the meeting. This will help you prepare better. Of course, introverts, just like in the hiking example, often need time alone to recharge their batteries. This is normal, and we don't need to be ashamed of this. We need time to think, or maybe some time not to think. If you know the types of things that drain you, you can prepare some time to recharge. Here's an example of how you might articulate your need. I enjoyed giving that presentation, but now I need to recharge a bit. I'm going to go take a walk outside and then I'll rejoin the group in a little while. Introverts can also need quiet for focus on certain projects. We are gifted thinkers, but we need some time and space to use that gift. Here is an example of how you might express a need for focus time. I'm going to shut my door for a bit while I finish this project. I do my best with detailed projects like this one, with some quiet time to think. Introverts also may have a need or a preference for writing over speaking. Do you ever get caught up in that group brainstorming session or group wordsmithing that's just gone on far too long and you really just need some time to process? Maybe say something like, hey, this has been a great conversation. Let me take some time now to write up my portion about what we talked about. Of course, group work can be good, but we need some time alone too. Are there other needs you have as an introvert? Do you get enough time on your own? Do you have a quiet space you can retreat to? Do you give yourself time to prepare? Do you take the time you need in conversations? How can you express all these needs with confidence? Again, be proud of who you are and at the same time insist on getting what you need. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to further connecting with you. Reach out at david@quietandstrong.com. Check out the website, quietandstrong.com. I'll add social media channels to the show notes. Send me topics or guests you'd like to see on the show. There's so many great things about being an introvert, so we need those to be understood. Remember, get to know your introverted strengths and needs and be strong.